Train Wave got another one.
What it do, what it do, what it do. It's your boy B. Damone in the house with Coach Gomez, and we are back at Level Up Productions. This is Along the Wire, episode 117, and this is episode San Antonio's Final Six. There are 6 teams from the San Antonio area still left in the state playoffs for Texas, 5A and 6A. So we are going to get into that. We have got a special guest coming on today. And we're also going to go over our pick'ems. But first, as you can see, I am repping for South Texas Football Unlimited. You always want to feel supported in what you're doing when it comes to recruiting reporting or covering your area. And, these are some of the guys who also show love, if it's retweets or calling or, using your connections. They're really cool, genuine dudes who cover the coastal Bend and Corpus areas and give the parts of Texas like we feel here that might not have a voice. So shout out to South Texas Football Unlimited. And so repping the hat for this segment. One of the things I want to do is start off by saying, if you've been following my tweets or if you've been listening to the show, period, I'm all about safety. And so when the COVID hit, that's the first thing I'm talking about. Hey, you got to be safe. You got to think about yourself and you got to think about others as well. If you're not thinking about yourself and how you're moving, how can you expect somebody around you to respect you enough to think about how they move that it can affect your health? So that being said, last night I went live on Twitter, which I wish I had just recorded it and then posted it because they lost my broadcast. I'm saying they because Twitter said I was broadcasting and recording. And then so if you didn't see it, I got my COVID-19 vaccination last night and at 9 o'clock. So I've got the first step in the vaccination. Now, just to give you the experience of it, it is a big-ass needle. Excuse me for cursing. It's a big needle, and your first shot you get, it's only a couple seconds. It's I felt soreness in it about 5 minutes after the shot. Nothing too crazy. After getting the shot, you go into an observation room for about 15 minutes. I stayed for 20. I just want to be extra careful. And then they allow you to leave. And they also set you up for your appointment 3 weeks later. It's a 2-shot vaccination. So my next one, I'm so Texas and I'm so high school football that I had them schedule it around when I find out what time the semifinals are for the state championships.
Gotcha.
So it's actually going to fall on the day that the state semis are. So I was like, let me find out when those games are, and then I'll have my second shot set up.
So is there a time frame in between that you got to get it done?
21 days up to 20. I'll say 27 days. Because
between the 21st and 27th day?
Yeah, you should have the second shot given for the vaccination.
Got you.
Yeah.
So how many fluid ounces, or what do they give you? Liters? How many milliliters?
The same. That's what I couldn't give you the exact one. It's the same as it's the same vial size as the flu shot. So when they take the serum, which is only good for 30 minutes after it's thawed out, so that's why they have it on time.
Really?
Yeah. And at university, how they're doing it, they're doing it around the clock. If they can get somebody scheduled every 20 minutes, then that's what they're doing. If people show up early, okay, if we can get you in, boom, and you have the serum that's not designated to your name, but that's at a level that's able to be used.
So do you feel it? Because he said it's 30 minutes after it's like it was frozen.
Well,
Do you feel it like
after
kind of cool going in?
well,
there?
no. It's 30 minutes for it to be thawed out that it has to be used.
Mm.
So it's kept cryogenically frozen, and then once it's thawed out, you have 30 minutes to use that serum. After that, it's
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't feel kind of cool or anything.
no.
No,
I didn't feel like any chill or no.
probably because
or
it's not
nothing
large
from it.
enough liquid like, to
Right,
hold
or
that
like
long.
yeah, that amount. But yeah, if anything, about 20 minutes after I got the shot, I had eaten before, about an hour before, and I had taken ibuprofen for the soreness, and I checked with some nurses that I'm cool with on exactly what they did when they got their shot. So I took ibuprofen and I ate before the shot, and then about 20 minutes after I got the shot, or 30 minutes, as I'm walking to my car, I called my wife, and I just felt hungry. And so, I mean, like, other than a little bit of soreness, about 30 minutes after the shot, I felt like I hadn't eaten,
Yeah.
and I wanted to drink something. So I guess dehydration and hunger are the first two side effects that I've gotten from it. Slept great, haven't had any soreness, nothing than just from your regular flu shot. So
Gotcha.
yeah, so I mean, y'all can ask me questions all you want. You know, I'm a huge advocate. I'm not doing this only for myself, but for everybody that I'm around. And you know, I want people to be confident in getting the vaccine. And if people want to use me as an example, then that's what I'm here for. So I'm still gonna be wearing a mask. I'm still gonna be doing that stuff. So you know, it's just being safe. It's just being safe. And not only being an example for myself, but for those around me. You know, I want to be
Yeah.
able to move around y'all, around everybody. So yeah, that's what it is. So thank you for listening to this segment about just being safe. And I'm doing it not only for myself, but for those that I care about and those around me. And thank you from Along the Wire. And we'll be right back. What it do, y'all. And we are back for this segment. And as you can see, we are ready for our coffee corner convo.
Yep.
We have got somebody very special here who is on a very special squad who I just found out a stat on that I'm pretty sure he might be aware of, but I feel like that team is so focused at this time that, hey, football is just football, and it just happens if it happens. We've got one of the top defensive backs in the city from Brennan, Caleb McGarity. What's going on, man?
What's up, Coach? How you doing, man? Glad to be here.
Doing good. Happy to have you. Thank you for waking up this early and you know, just making time. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all letting me be on here.
Oh yeah. So I said as a special stat. You know, unfortunately, y'all do have a loss this year to Warren. But did you know that since that game, Brennan's only given up 11 points a game?
It's pretty impressive.
Nah, I ain't even know that. That's crazy.
No, you didn't know that?
Nah, that's crazy.
What kind of adjustments did y'all make after that first loss?
It was like a rude awakening. Like getting us up out of bed. Like, we thought we was all high and we was big and bad, and then that first loss, it kind of made us humble.
Gotcha.
So we didn't really have to make any adjustments. You know, we got great coaches. We just had to like play harder and capitalize on things.
Cool. So y'all basically kept it the same, but it was more like, hey man, just step up and do your responsibility and do what you're supposed to do, instead of getting hit in the mouth and backing down.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right, and that's one of those. I will hit up players after losses, but if you remember, and how I like to see how teams rebound after that, they came back and they slapped O'Connor, like I said, 30-7.
Yeah, I remember seeing that game. Brandon was flying on the ball.
Yeah,
I remember watching that game.
yeah.
Couldn't
So
do anything.
Brendan's been that squad. You know, whenever I talk to anybody from another area, I'm like, Brennan, I know everybody's saying Judson. Some people say Brandeis. Just the real names that they know because they don't. But I'm like, people forget, Brennan's got that defense, and I just remember being high on Brennan after that Reagan game. So the Warren loss to me was a shock, and I could just imagine, exactly how Caleb just said. It's good that they got knocked down, and that just helped refocus them, because even in that loss, that was a rare 2 defensive touchdown, and I don't understand how they didn't score more than 14. But I think that was just one of those blip type games, but they just had to reset. Is that kind of exactly how it went down? And that actual moment of the game, was it just like, okay, what's going on?
Nah, they probably played their best game just like they did against OC.
Okay.
They had an interception that went 6, and then they had a fumble recovery that went 6. So it's just crazy things happen.
So this last game versus Vela, what was the mentality going in? Do y'all think about the history of a team and how they've done against San Antonio, or how they make other schools look in the area? I know they came in there undefeated. What was the mindset of Brennan going into that matchup last week?
It was like, at first we were just gonna go in there and handle business, and then like we had seen that the running back was like talking mess on Twitter or something like that. So it went from like we're gonna go in there to handle business to we're about to go in there, we going in there to kill. Go in there to send it back to the valley,
Yeah, it got personal at that point.
Yeah.
So are those sound like those are motivation points to you? Is that something that y'all stumble across, or do y'all go and check opponents and try to find something?
It always happens that we stumble across it. We don't go looking for it. They come to us with it. I feel like it's a sign of fear.
I like that. That's good. That's very good. Did you get a chance to catch your next opponent's game in their game versus Roosevelt, Vandergrift?
Yeah, I watched that yesterday.
So you watched it in its entirety?
Yeah, I thought they were great. Honestly, I feel like Austin teams, like, they always play a certain way. They play hard, pedal to the metal.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, I hope truly their running back comes back. Like, I wish well for him, because like they're a really great offense if they have their running back, and
right.
I feel like them as a team, they're very great, very well coached.
So, seeing as how that game was played, is there anything that you take that Roosevelt did? Because I mean, the final score was 14-7. So,
yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like, but they were efficient. They were more efficient than they were like overpowering. And like you said, that running back, I think he had 8 carries for like 114 yards or something like that before he got injured. So he was very effective versus Roosevelt. But I definitely understand, and I hope everybody understands that Brennan is a different level defense than Roosevelt is. But I was talking with your defensive back brother, Buddha, and I told him that they were very gamey, and I'm not sure if you picked that up, but it was a lot of, okay, I'm going to fake like I'm going out of bounds, but I'm going to stay in bounds. I'm tripping like I'm falling. They make you stay on your toes.
They manipulate the play.
You're right. And it was a lot of like when they came out and they did the onside kick, and it was like, okay,
thinking outside the box a little bit.
Right. So you have to pay attention to detail. Yeah. Did you pick that up when you were watching that game?
Yeah, that's them Austin teams. Like, they all play like that. Like, every time we played against Westlake, they all play like that. It's very different than anybody else. Like, they're like tricky. It's like they're not playing dirty, but it feels like they're playing dirty.
It's like they know the rule.
Yeah.
They know the rule, and they're gonna follow it.
It's like that one it's like that one CYO coach or Pop Warner coach growing up that knew all the damn rules, and he always figuring out a way to break them.
Exactly. So yeah, so awesome. Then you pick that up as well. So great. Was there anything that what gets you going about facing Austin and Austin Vandergrift squad?
Uh, I've never really played them before. It's like we want to go to the next level.
Right.
Just trying to amp up every single time, and like even like my team, like offense against defense, we're always pushing each other to the next level. And a lot of people say, like, when you look at Brandon, like, we got a lot of sophomores on the team, and sophomores equals to a loss, but our sophomores is playing like juniors, to be honest, and they really, believe it or not, they really step up, and they lead sometimes too, and they play like seniors sometimes. Like, we have our safety Tyler, he's leading district in interceptions, and then we have our quarterback that's Ashton
Mhm.
Bowes, he's all-star.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's one thing that I've said, and I noticed it in the Reagan game. He's a very cool, calm kid in the pocket. Like, I've
Yeah.
seen him avoiding rushes, and his feet are quiet. His body isn't frantic. The ball stays in the proper position, and he's just moving his feet.
Still looking downfield, not just exactly taking off.
Exactly, because he's definitely an athlete who can run.
Yeah.
But I think he does look to use that arm first, and he can set you up with his eyes to use his feet.
Yeah, and
that's
then he has
something
that
I
continuity
noticed.
with his brother,
Yes,
as a receiver. So
yes, and
that
then,
helps out a lot.
and then you can't forget about Jalen. So I mean, like, I think Brennan has a squad, and like Caleb said, there's a lot of sophomores, but these sophomores aren't playing like sophomores. These sophomores are playing like, man, I can't wait till they're seniors.
Not only that, they're executing it off three phases of the ball.
Yeah.
You're talking about offense, defense, and special teams. And I think when you can capitalize on all three phases of the ball, it gives you a better chance at the end of the day.
And Caleb excels in all three phases of the ball of playing football: special teams, defense, and offense. I've seen him make some crazy catches on offense. Do you prefer playing offense over defense, or like does that give you something extra, or is it just, hey, I'm just in here to make a play?
I feel like it gives me something extra, but at the end of the day, I'm trying to get my team a dub, I feel like they could use me as a distraction, because they know if I'm going to get in on offense, I'm going to get the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But I prefer defense, though. I like to smack people.
And I can tell that in the film. And one of the things that I love about Brennan's defense is the fact that it seems like all of y'all are physical, and I feel like y'all wouldn't let anybody be on the field or on the team playing defense if they're not going to bring their hat. Is that pretty much true?
Yeah, that's very true. If you're not bringing it, we're gonna tell you that. Like, if you coming up soft and we come back and watch film, we're gonna be clowning you about it. Everybody got to step up and hit.
Yeah,
definitely. So, switching it up just a little bit here. If I was to go through your pregame playlist, what is Caleb listening to?
I mean, see, on the way to the game, I'm probably listening to McGrady Boys playlist. Back in the day when they had their little group, they got hard songs on there. And then get into the locker room. We let our quarterback, Ashton Bowes, let him play his playlist on the speaker. So
okay,
he playing straight NBA YoungBoy. And that's it. Like, straight NBA YoungBoy the whole time.
And then all right, so you're listening to dude. So McGarity's, the Judson McGarity boys.
Yeah.
See.
It was all over it.
Yeah, I exactly. Trust me. So game day morning versus Vandergrift. What are you having for breakfast that's going to get you ready for the game?
Some tacos, some breakfast tacos. I don't want nothing too heavy, but I need some salt in my body. I might need like potato and egg, chili on egg. Some nice, not too much though.
And what are you drinking on?
Some water.
Water. Okay, that's the second week in a row we've heard
water, yeah.
water. We've heard water. Sweet. So all right. So you're getting to the game. How do y'all set the tone in warm-ups? Because a lot of times you always hear bring your own juice. You know, what is it, because y'all been winning? What is it that keeps you motivated to continue to perform at such a high level?
We got a lot of leaders, it's real team led. Like, it's not even with see the captains like me, Donnie, Justino, then these two linemen, but it's like us as captain, and then there's more captains into the team. And you got them crazy people that just start turning up while we warming up, and that starts getting everybody else going. It's like a trickle down effect.
Okay, definitely. So everybody has their responsibilities in order to make sure everybody's bringing it.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's having levels in a system in place is very important.
Yeah.
I like that. Because that makes a lot of sense when you see how composed and I say composed and destructive that they are on defense, and how in tune they are.
And not only that, they're not waiting on there's if it's just one or two guys that are leaders, waiting for those guys to wake up.
Yeah.
Like you said, they all have different levels. So if one guy's not on, well, at least the other guys are gonna hype us up. You know what I mean? Right. And hopefully it'll feed off.
So if you're not getting any workouts in for football, and it's not and you're in your free time, what can we find Caleb doing?
Like after the season?
Well, after COVID and after the season.
Basically like your relaxed time, your personal time, outside of football.
Outside of football, I'll probably be right in this room, eating and sleeping. It's like what else can you do except football?
Are
go
you
hit some weights?
Are you one that sleeps on the way to the game?
Nah. I can't sleep for some reason. I'll be up.
Do you have teammates who actually do that?
Yes.
I could never understand it. I could never understand how you can sleep and then wake up
and then want to play.
Yeah.
Right when they hop on the bus, they be asleep. I'm talking headphones in, gone. It's crazy.
Yeah, that stuff is wild, man. So, last question, and man, thank you so much for your time. What is it that we can expect and that people can expect to see next week out of Brennan when it comes to Vandegrift?
Something to expect. It is going to be a great game. I'm not going to say, oh, we're going to whoop them. That's right. We're just going to come out there. You can expect Brennan to come out there and handle business. And a lot of energy. A lot of energy from us.
Already. Well, this has been Caleb McGarity. Caleb, can you give us your Twitter handle so that we can make sure people can follow you?
It's easy, as simple as possible. Caleb McGarity 01.
Caleb McGarity 01. Make sure that you follow him. We appreciate your time, man. And of course, I mean, I'm not putting any bulletin board material out there, but I'm rolling with Brennan.
Yeah,
so
sure.
That's all that has to be said about that. And when you got a squad who, as Caleb sounds and as they put out on the field, that is focused and dedicated, and understands the importance of team and levels. When y'all go back and listen to this interview, sorry to keep you on here, but I want to make sure you hear this. You've got to understand that there's a different level of what focus sounds like, and what winning sounds like, and what expectation sounds like, and what the formalities of it sounds like. You've heard them talk about. You've heard Caleb talk about different levels, bringing that energy, and talking about his sophomores,
even to respecting the other team, his opponent. So I mean, I see Caleb going in there humble.
Yeah,
not to mention it's a home game for them because you're playing here in San Antonio,
and it's business.
Not only that, if you can get all San Antonio out there to support, you don't know what these boys can do. It might
Exactly.
hype them up a little bit more.
Exactly.
So and take them to a different level.
Exactly. So hey man, be blessed. We wish you success and health and a lot of prosperity, man, and along the wire supporting Brennan, as you already know. So go back to sleep, man. And thank you so much for your time, Caleb. We appreciate it.
All right, I appreciate y'all having me out here. Thank you.
All right,
good
take
luck,
care.
man.
All right, so that was Caleb McGarity, senior defensive back from Brennan High School here in San Antonio, Texas. Very impressive and focused
Yeah.
is what I get. And one of the things that I didn't talk about, and I don't think it even needs to be talked about, is his size.
Yeah.
He exudes confidence and a still, I'm not gonna say violent, but I mean a very
He's a student of the game.
Yeah.
Student of the game. He
Yeah.
plays with speed
Yeah.
to make up for that height.
Yeah.
Tries to put himself in position to be successful out there, so working on his technique and stuff like that always helps out, especially when you're a shorter player. So all that makes up for the height advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that he understands and gets that. And wherever, for lack of a better term, wherever he might come up short at, he excels in every other area that you would ever want a player to do that.
Yeah.
If it's breaking on the ball, getting your helmet in on a play recognition, being physical, footwork. He has crazy footwork. More quick than fast, but he has good speed.
Yeah.
And I honestly, if you're a defensive back or if you're a younger player going and you're seeing him every day, it's the same thing. I hate to bring another player into it, but it's the Aiden type thing, like in which you have a player who is just great, and you might think you're bigger, better, and this dude's gonna show you up. So if you're not following his lead and you think that you're better, he's worlds better.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank you so much for your time, Caleb. We appreciate you again. And shout out to Coach, I always say it, Baser at Brennan, because if you've got a senior like that, then that trickles down.
Yeah, for sure.
And I can't even wait to speak to other players younger on that squad, because I think I'd just be as impressed as in talking to Caleb. And man, so I mean, I'm hyped to see Brennan versus Vandergrift right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one, man.
I'm ready to see it. But what I'm ready to see right now is me get a W.
Come on,
in these pick'ems,
man.
In these pick'ems. So
Talk to me. What do we got?
let's see. He said, "Talk to me."
You already got it.
He said, "Talk to me."
Laptop.
Oh. Let's see. All right, so we are gonna do these pick'ems right now, and this is what it is. All right, first game. Did you have Flower Bluff or Southside? We didn't do this together. You see, you see. I had Southside.
I had Flower Bluff. We had Southside. We had Southside.
See?
Funny guy.
I was about to say. I was like, "What?"
Funny guy.
Did you have Southwest or Weslaco East?
I had Southwest.
I had Southwest as well. Southwest won that game 32-15. Did you have Mission or Laredo United South?
Laredo United South.
Laredo United South won that, and I had that game as well. Let's see. Did you have Leander Rose or Mercedes?
Leander.
I had Mercedes, and Leander Rose won. Congratulations on that one. Did you have Georgetown East or Alamo Heights?
I actually had Alamo Heights.
I had Alamo Heights as well. Alamo Heights lost that one. And this one, did you have Bernie Champion or Liberty Hill?
Bernie Champion.
I had Bernie Champion, and Bernie Champion lost. I could not believe that.
Bad, too.
Did you have Brennan or Edinburgh Vela?
Brennan.
I had Brennan as well. Brennan won that one 28-3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. Did you have Steel or Round Rock?
I had Steel.
I had Steel as well. And Steel won that one 26-19. I want to say it's okay for announcers to know what they're talking about. I thought about that on my way over here, to know what they're talking about when watching these games. I am looking for a position to do. I would love to cover some high school football games. I mean,
At the press box.
yeah, like hey, Texas Sports Productions or whoever's out there. Hey, I'm down. I'm ready, especially for a San Antonio school. Yeah, we gotta understand that Beagle is Beagle and not Begale. So,
So that's the reason why. I got you. I get it now.
I'm saying, Sherryland Pioneer or Marble Falls?
Sherryland Pioneer.
Sherryland Pioneer.
Won or lost?
Oh, I had Sherryland as well.
Who won?
Sherryland Pioneer won. That was a crazy game. That was actually out here at Comerlander.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have Corpus Christi's Veterans or Southwest Legacy?
Veterans.
I had Veterans as well. And Corpus Christi Veterans won that one. Did you have Taft or Spudja North?
Far. You mean far?
Yeah.
Taft.
I had Taft, and unfortunately that game was canceled due to COVID. But Taft moves on.
Advances.
Yeah, Taft moves on. Next up, did you have Johnson or Buter Hayes?
Johnson.
I had Johnson too. Johnson lost that one. Did you have Smithson Valley or Austin Westlake?
I had Smithson Valley.
I went with Smithson Valley as well. Smithson Valley lost that game to Austin Westlake. Honestly, I was terribly shocked by that score.
Yeah.
I was terribly shocked. Austin Vandergrift or Roosevelt? Who'd you have?
I had Roosevelt.
I had Roosevelt as well. And Roosevelt lost to Austin Vandergrift. Stevens versus Harlingen. Who'd you have?
Stevens.
Stevens. And boy, did they come back in that one. I mean, I tweeted, don't call it a come. I had Stevens myself. And Stevens won. Man, I got to listen to that game more than I didn't get to see it. New Braunfels Canyon versus KT Pateau.
New Braunfels Canyon. They won by forfeit.
Right.
Who'd you have?
I had New Braunfels Canyon as well.
Yep.
And you won.
Who won?
You won.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All that talking. Mm-hmm.
Who won?
Golly. You went to the second round for what?
You
For
see-
nothing.
Nah. See, now we're 1-1. It's coming up on that third.
It's coming up to that third one.
Third round.
Mhm.
Third round. So we will be right back and talk about the games this weekend. So
Sir.
we'll be right back from Along the Wire. Thank you very much. What it do? We are back, and we're going to be talking about some of the games that we were able to attend and cover. This week I was at the Southwest versus Weslaco East game. You attended the Southside game versus Flower Bluff.
Yeah.
And I was able to watch the Roosevelt game and listen in on the Stevens game. So a lot of coverage. We're going to break a couple of things down for you and just give you our game experience. Let's start off with Southside. That was the first game this past Thursday. Southside did take the loss 31-21
Yeah.
versus a known opponent. I watched the game and you were at the game. What are some of the takeaways you had from it that let's say, would have allowed them to come out victorious?
Victorious. That second half, they did some adjustments. Southside did on stopping that stretch play that they were beating them with. Flower Bluff kept on pounding on the stretch to the right, stretch to the left. Southside adjusted, stopped that, but then at the same time opened up the middle for them where the tight end started coming up the middle on that pass. But then they also adjusted to that eventually and kind of made it a ball game. Of course, it was 10-point game. One takeaway I think Southside should have adjusted on was in that second half they were throwing into the wind. And Torres, he has a great arm, so when he would throw the ball and elevate it to get there, it would stop. So I think he threw one interception, almost had another one back to back on the very next series. I don't know if you recall when you were watching that online.
And the safety dropped it. It hit him in the chest, but he dropped it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think if they would have eliminated, tried and go downfield, and maybe with the crossing route, some crossers down the middle, because they were already expecting him to throw deep.
Right.
They were already playing deep. So if they would have had some crossers coming across to advance the ball little by little, I think that would have helped them out a little bit. But it was more like we kept on trying to go for that deep ball.
So was it like a bubble or bust situation, you thought?
Yeah.
And who does that make you think of who we talked about last year?
I don't know, you tell me.
Judson,
yeah.
Judson.
Yeah.
So definitely there was some intermediate routes put in there, or some more timing routes in that second half, because as you remember in the first, it seemed like they were trying that.
Yeah.
And they had some shorter routes, some quick hitch looking stuff, and then
but I think, they both came out, kind of like playing the chess game. They were both kind of, respecting each other. It was tight early in the game. Southside went in there and had a couple of 2 or 3 and outs, and then eventually everybody settled down and started making their adjustments and trusting each other. But there was some impressive things I did see because we're on the sideline for Southside. Coaches have a lot of trust in them players.
Yeah.
The receivers coach, on one touchdown, he called one of his receivers and he goes, "Hey, can you beat this guy?" The receiver told him, "Yeah, I can beat him." As soon as he said that, very next play he goes in, lines up, go route, boom, Torres throws him.
Number 11.
Yes.
Number
but
11.
you see, they weren't working.
Tovar.
They weren't working with the wind at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like the wind wasn't against them.
Yeah.
It wasn't as windy. But then as the night got cooler, they got wind. Yeah, the wind picked up, and like I said, you can see the difference in the balls when they were coming out.
Yeah, and even like you said, when they hit the tight end for like that 60-yard run at the end of the third.
Yes.
At the end of the third, that was so close, and I felt they were with the wind on that one.
Yeah.
They were with the wind. It was so close to being overthrown. He just caught that ball.
He bobbled it, yeah.
And that was on third down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was on third down, and that is the straw that broke the camel's back to me when watching that game.
Yeah.
It was like, because it was like a 3rd and 13 or something like that.
Yeah.
And
then there was a couple of, I think if Southside would have came out swinging like they normally do, like the times we've seen them, there wasn't that much energy in the beginning of the game. I was telling Chris, I was like, man, there's like a weird vibe. There's not that energy. It's like they just need one big play. If they get a big play, everybody will wake up.
The touchdown.
I'm like, but it shouldn't have to take a big play for you to wake up, man. This is a playoff game. You know what I mean? I mean, y'all had energy at y'all's home field last week without having a big play. Of course, it was at home,
right.
But still. Right. Anyways, they adjusted. They woke up, and once they woke up, they started making it a ball game. There was a couple of plays where some kids missed some crucial blocks. I think if they would have made some those crucial blocks, it could have cost some points.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. But much respect to Coach Locke.
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
And everybody's going through COVID, but that for the team to put up the fight how they did, hats off to that staff for having those kids ready, because it's challenging.
Yeah, and then it was nice to see other players step up, because you're losing Caleb. You know what I mean? He's graduating, and you saw some other running backs starting to show some potential. You saw some other receivers step up as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Southside brings back next year.
Exactly.
I mean, Torres is a great quarterback. I look at him being the number one prospect in San Antonio. That guy just he has a can of an arm. You know what I mean? His arm's just is there.
Yeah. So shout out and good season to everybody out there at Southside. And like Coach Gomez said, we can't wait to see what next year's going to look like. Let's move on to Roosevelt, a school that beat Judson last week, goes up against Austin Vandergrift and looks flat.
Yeah.
I tweeted out in the second half, hit them with everything. It took a while for them to get going, but, hats off to that Roosevelt defense, because that was one part of the ball that did bring it. Even if there was some drives, Vandergrift took up a whole quarter with the drive.
Yeah.
And that defense still had the gall to just stay in it. It wasn't like, oh man, because Roosevelt would go 3 and out on offense.
I mean, well, it was a defensive ball game. I mean, the score was 14 to 7.
14
So
to
I mean,
7.
as you get deeper into these playoffs, you got to expect that. You know what I mean? It's either going to be a defensive ball game, or it's going to be, an example like a Miller ball game where you're scoring back and forth, Miller Bernie ball game. You know what I mean? So, it's kind of one of those pick your poisons. And a lot of times when a team respects the other team, they kind of try to keep them off the field and just want to run the ball and do the drive and do the possession game. Yeah. And I think that's what Vandergrift did, was trying to keep the talent that Roosevelt had off the field and make it a possession game.
And that's exactly, I can't hear myself just in case. And that's exactly what I felt Vandergrift tried to stop with Roosevelt, was them getting their athletes in space, because that's when they got in trouble. That's when they got in trouble at the end of the third quarter going into the fourth.
Yeah.
Roosevelt was actually able to get to those receivers and get those passing routes going, and get back into it. So, I mean, when you're being shut out, and then all of a sudden you have some remnants of success, that's what you want to be able to build and capitalize on. And for whatever reason, that wasn't the case for Roosevelt going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
All the momentum was on their side, and then there was like a flip that switched, and I mean, I just can't. The telecasters kept saying, "You come with the one that brought you." If you come with the one that brought you, then you got to realize that what they did to bring you there and got you there, you've got to continue to use those attributes. And that's what I didn't feel was significant enough at all in that fourth quarter.
Yeah. As far as, them going away from the passing game and
right,
not passing as much as they
because
should've.
as much as you have your athletes in the back, 20 running the ball, forgive me, Hodges, and you have Coleman and you have Sermons in your backfield. If I know that that's what you're gonna do, if I know that's what you're gonna do, then it makes it that much easier for me to just let you do that.
No.
So it becomes a time in which, okay, you're running the ball on me, but you take up 6 minutes to get 40 yards. And there's no variation of a truly successful plan of moving down the field.
Yeah.
Because even when you're in between plays, there's standing, there's lethargy, and there's no urgency. And the announcer said that. It's like, okay, they're moving at a pace that's making me nervous. Like, we know you're down by 7 and you feel like you're marching. You got a couple of first downs, but you're literally at the 25-yard line with 4 minutes left in the game, and there's no urgency.
No shots to the touchdown, to the end zone.
No.
Yeah.
No. So when you're at that point, even getting back out to that line, you said it earlier in the year with Comfort. If you're even going to run the ball, at least have some urgency to get back to that line and put out that energy. Like, okay, we know what we're gonna do. We know you know what we're gonna do, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But that look is totally different when you got your linemen just and no shot at them, but it's all about the presentation that leads to the effort that's put forward.
It was like more like we're just trying to get this game over with and keep it close.
And even if you feel like you can run the ball on them, then let's show some excitement behind that.
Yeah.
Let's get up to this line quickly, even if we're going to hold it for 10 or 15 seconds.
Yeah.
We're here and we're intense, and we're going to show you that we're going to run this ball. That was just a different squad than the one that was the week before. And the tools utilized didn't seem like it was actually there.
Yeah.
So,
well, you know, you got to take into consideration that Roosevelt hadn't been there in a while, probably, and you know, it's kind of one of those things that they didn't know how to react, how to prepare. You know, you can, you know, I hate to use that as an excuse, but there's a lot of times there's teams that don't know how to win. You know what I mean? They pull off an upset, but then next week, you know, how do we prepare? How do we get ready?
right.
You know what I mean? Especially for a quality opponent.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, what bag of what tool we're gonna have to reach in our bag and
Right.
use it's different. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
Instead of utilizing the same tools.
Right.
You gotta think outside the box. Somebody different's gotta step
Right.
up.
And speaking of that, we want to give a shout out to Stevens as well. Stevens faced that same adversity of being down and was able to fight. And I'm going to get with more players as I was able to listen to this game. I wasn't able to see it, but they came back from being down, and beat Harlingen.
Yeah, there was 21-7 at a point.
Yeah, and they came back and won that game 28-21.
Yeah.
So shout out to Stevens.
And I know you had some different guys stepping up during those drives. You know, you had
Mhm.
Ethan Gonzalez step up.
Jace.
You had who else? What's the other guy?
Jace.
Yeah, he stepped up, the receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you had guys make big plays defensively. They were coming up.
Harlingen was being physical. From the clips that I saw, Harlingen was looking like
they hit Adams a couple times too. You know,
And
like
I'm
waking
like-
them up. Yep. So
yeah, you might not be in the play, but you in this play.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
no, but you know, I think we said Stevens was one of those scrappy teams. Though.
exactly.
You know, if they can keep that same mentality, that dog
Mhm.
mentality, I think they
Mhm.
can do it, man. And they have a lot of senior leadership, and I think the guys are gravitating towards them and know what the goal is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now as they're advancing, knowing that they can do it, it's going to give them that confidence going into next week.
Right. And then lastly, Southwest, I was at that game. It was over by the end of the first half. It was 21-7 when I left. But I love when you can see a team that can formulate how to beat a squad
Mhm.
and continually use that and keep it fresh with their multi-running back system and running with their quarterback. Andre Mitchell, 20-plus carries, 130 yards, a touchdown. Andre, stop jumping. This is the second week in a row that I've seen his legs in the air and he doesn't get a touchdown. And this was like from like the 25 or 30 and he was diving and I'm like, what are you flipping for, man? It's free, especially after seeing Robinson at Texas with the Scorpion. Oh my Lord. I was like, dude, stop. Don't leave your feet. It was just freaking me out. And I mean, and he's not the biggest kid.
Yeah.
And I know you want to get those yards, but leaving your feet is something that you got to think about
Yeah.
before you do it. But you know, shout out to Southwest. There, when they know they can run it on you,
Yeah, they're gonna run down your throat.
and that's exactly what they did. Over 200 yards rushing for them overall as a team, and they had some timely passes too. Andre had a couple catches,
Did
so you know, and he's able to get the ball out the backfield. So you know, it was good to see them win and be dominant. So shout out to those schools that won this weekend and shout out to the schools that lost, and also have a springboard leading into their next season, because these extra games, like I tweeted out, these extra games that you're getting, you sophomores, juniors, freshmen who might be on the squad for playoffs, just in case, because you've been teetering and now they're bringing you up for varsity. You might not play, but you're getting this feel of what it's like. You're getting those extra practices. You're getting all this preparation because they need you to step it up for the next season Take
Absorb
advantage
all-
of it.
Absorb all that knowledge. Absorb the experience.
Take
the
advantage
moments,
of it.
Yep.
Take advantage of
Ask questions. Don't just be there being a cheerleader. Ask questions. Be involved.
it. Yeah.
The guy who plays your position, whether it's an offensive lineman, defensive lineman, you're a backup quarterback, backup running back, receiver that may not even see the field.
Yeah.
Be there watching your position and learn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if you got to say, hey, what play was that? Ask them what play it was that they ran,
Yeah.
and you can learn. You can learn a whole lot from just being there on that sideline.
Exactly. Because you're there for a reason.
Yep.
You're there for a reason. All right, we will be right back and talk about these. We will be right back, and we will be right back, and we will be. We will be right back and talk about the third round playoff games. The final 6 squads in the city. We'll give our predictions, and we'll be right back with it. What it do? We are back for this last final segment, but we are going to get into the last 6 squads that are left for the San Antonio area and the Texas State high school football brackets for 5A and 6A. So this is SA Final 6, episode 117, and let's get into these final 6. We'll go from bottom to top. New Braunfels Canyon takes on Cedar Park.
Yeah.
I think that this is the end of the road for New Braunfels Canyon. Great season that they've put together. I think this is going to be a major test. If they get by Cedar Park, I would be very surprised.
With the way things have been going, anything can happen. Cedar Park can do a forfeit, and you never know, man.
Exactly. So as of right now, with both teams being healthy,
Cedar Park.
Cedar Park. If both teams make it to the field, and I think that's important to state because if both teams are able to field their squads, I believe that Cedar Park has the clear advantage. New Braunfels. I hate to talk about them as if they've already lost the game, but they've got a lot to build on. They've got a lot to look back and be proud about when you go into the season. Let me stop that.
Yeah, because it's Christmas, bro. You never know. Anything can happen, and your Braunfels may get a Christmas gift. You never know, brother.
That's very true. I'm going for New Braunfels. I just feel
yeah, because they're a local team, no doubt. But you had an issue. I don't want to bring up some old stuff, but Ty Reasoner.
Mm-hmm.
Johnson would have been a different team if they would have had him.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
and injuries can happen. COVID happens. You don't know. They may lose their starting running back or quarterback right before the game.
Yeah.
You never know what could happen. So yeah, I'm still gonna go with New Braunfels Canyon.
Right. Next up, Corpus Christi Vets versus Southwest High School.
It's another one. I'm gonna go with Southwest, even though on paper CC Vets is a much better team. They actually have, I think, the better quarterback, better offense, but anything can happen, man. It's playoff football.
I'm gonna go with Vets.
That's why they play them. That's why they play the games.
I'm going with Vets.
Go with Vets.
I think that, when you have an offense and you have them with the history and the teams that they've played, I think if Southwest was able to play their more full schedule, and even at that, you would have to perform. And I think that the capabilities of your offense would have to be more than what Southwest is capable of at this time.
Oh, Vets has been playing at a high level. Even last year, they have a returning quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He has a lot of experience in big games. So I see Vets pulling it off for sure.
Right. Next up, Austin Westlakes and Stevens.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. That may be the end of Stevens' run, but hey, it's been a special season.
And this is a learning and a springboard opportunity. Brashears, Leonard, juniors and sophomores on that squad.
Yeah.
Seniors are going to give it your all.
Yeah.
Take from this game.
I think the crucial where this is really going to happen is the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's also a preparation for them coaches, man.
Yes,
I mean, it's not like they're in
that can't be understated.
Yeah, that can't. You can only put so much on the players, but are these coaches going to put those players in a position to be successful against Westlake?
Mm-hmm.
We know Westlake's going to have some size. They're going to be well coached. What are the coaching staff for Stevens going to do for their players?
Definitely. and this is what I want to make sure I get this right.
Because I really want to see the way that interior line matchup's going to be with Austin Westlake. I know all season
On
long.
their offensive line?
Yeah, I know all season long I was a big fan of Stevens' defensive line.
Yeah.
And I think that this is going to be a true test against that Austin Westlake defensive line. Not only that, Leonard's been wanting to be tested. Well, he's going to get tested.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. The matchup that I want to see is Leonard Adams versus Greathouse.
Yeah. That's good.
Wide receiver number 9,
Yeah.
who is pretty much the mold of Jaden Gardner out at Cornerstone. Probably a little bit longer of a receiver, and definitely with the hype and the expectations on Westlake, I'm definitely looking forward to see how they use that.
Yeah.
Use him, and I mean, me just competitive wise, I'm like, Leonard, this is you all day.
Yeah, Leonard needs to do it, man. I think he can step up to the plate, but he, like I said, he's been wanting to be tested. Well, now's your week to show what you're about.
So, I do have Austin Westlake winning that game, and I do believe that that's going to be the last game of the year for Stevens. Next up, Cibolo Steel versus Laredo United South. Shout out Cibolo Steel.
Yeah.
I'm taking Steel in that one.
Oh, for sure.
Clear. And once again, being able to have a senior quarterback and get this leadership going over there at Cibolo, I think Beagle's thriving.
I mean, they already beat the toughest test, and that's getting past Central Texas, which they have already.
So we got Steel, right?
Yep.
Next up, Taft versus Buda Hayes.
Hey, isn't that funny? When he gets that L, now it's we got Steel.
Wow.
Ooh, I had to throw that in there, baby.
Okay.
All right, now what do we got?
All right, we got we got Taft. Both teams 8-3.
Taft versus who?
Buda Hayes.
Buda Hayes. I say Buda Hayes can pull it out, man.
I'm going to roll with Taft. I think Buda Hayes is fortunate. Buda Hayes is fortunate to be there. And I think I'm going to go with the fight of Taft and the unfamiliarity of the playoffs, of them being, kind of the opposite of which, when you're speaking to kids like Caleb and then you talk to a kid like Tremaine, that okay, we're here, we got something to prove it for, so we're going to give you that unexpected. And there's a fearlessness in being ignorant, so I'm going to go with Taft in that I think that their joy for being where they are right now and that effort's going to be relentless. And sometimes when you have a school that just goes hard and they don't know anything different, Hayes is fortunate right now.
Yeah.
Brennan versus Vandergrift, last game, team number 6 from San Antonio, Texas. I'm not going to hold back Brennan. Landslide. Vandergrift didn't show anything to me. I love that Caleb and Brennan respect them because I don't.
No.
And I don't think that there's anything at Vandergrift, be they 100% healthy or not, that scares me about them playing Brennan. This game, for all intents and purposes, on everybody apparently in the nation's list was supposed to be Justin Brennan at this point.
Yeah.
And of course that's why they play the game, but this is why they played the games as well. And I think Brennan, if you have Caleb with that mentality and that focus, I wasn't trying to goad him into saying anything, but but he made it very clear, hey, I'm not going to say nothing. This is business. This isn't, he's like, I'm excited. I'm happy to play them. We haven't played them before. So, and they understand what playing an Austin team is like. And if he was able to see that and pick that up, then that you got an extremely focused Brennan squad.
Yeah, for sure.
And that just trickles down.
Yep.
So,
and then you got the coaching staff who's been in the position before. Brennan coaches have been in the playoffs. They've won state championships. So
And they diversify how they win games.
yeah,
And they diversify how they win games. And they have the ability to do that. So that is a 6. We got Brennan, Taft, Cibolo, Stevens, Southwest, and New Braunfels Canyons as the last schools representing the San Antonio area. Much success to you all. For the winners that I picked or that Coach Gomez picked that were not San Antonio squads, we do hope you win.
yeah, for sure.
So, hey, Along the Wire supports everybody from San Antonio, Texas. It's going down. Thank you for watching episode 117. Make sure you like and subscribe the episode and to the channel. Follow me at B Damone on Twitter, Along the Wirecast on Facebook, and Along the Wire on Instagram. Follow Coach Gomez at
STX 7v7 on Twitter.
And 7-on-7's coming up.
Yup.
We gonna talk about it.
Yup.
210, we out. Along the Wire, hook 'em, birds up. We out.
Peace.